More and more backstage reports are starting to be released about the Royal Rumble, so we'll take a look at the new reports about Alexa Bliss and Shane McMahon. We'll also see what Bobby Lashley had to say. Let's start things off with the most talked about individual in the wrestling news headlines right now, and that's of course Shane McMahon. So let's take a look at all the reports that are out there on Shane and summarize everything that has come out. Shane McMahon was a surprise entrant for the men's Royal Rumble match. He was technically a surprise entrant, but word of his Royal Rumble appearance did leak out a few days in advance. And those initial reports also talked about how it wasn't a one-off appearance. They also mentioned how Shane McMahon was back as a regular on Raw, and how he will stick around for a WrestleMania program. But Raw came around a few nights later and Shane McMahon was nowhere to be found. That's when reports provided another update on the situation. Reports claim that Shane McMahon was allegedly in hot water after the disappointment of the men's Royal Rumble match. Shane got so much of the blame because he was reportedly one of the main writers and producers of the match, so a lot of that heat fell on him. There's also a lot of other reports that claim it was back and forth between Shane and Vince. They claim that Shane wanted to come in and make several changes to the Royal Rumble match, but they were all shut down by Vince McMahon. Not only was his ideas shut down, but now Shane's entire return program has also been shut down. Shane was allegedly going to be included in the WWE Championship Elimination Chamber match. During that match, he would start up some serious issues with Seth Rollins, and that would lead to their feud and a WrestleMania match between the two of them. But reports now claim that everything creative-wise with Shane McMahon has been wiped off the table, and how he was quietly let go and sent home by the company. So it wasn't supposed to be a one-off appearance, he was supposed to be the big return that came out of the men's Royal Rumble match, and stick around for all these months. But because of all this backstage conflict, it does look like his Rumble return ended up being a one-off appearance after all. Another report claims that there's even individuals with WWE that feel like the 2022 Royal Rumble event didn't really live up to everyone's expectations, and how they will try harder for next year's show. So that's where Shane McMahon stands at right now. He was reportedly sent home, and that's that. Maybe if the situation does cool down, they'll bring him back, or maybe he is, in fact, legitimately done for now. We'll have to wait and see. Speaking of the Royal Rumble, Alexa Bliss fans were asking some questions about why Alexa missed the Rumble and wasn't a surprise entrant. Reports claim that there was a conversation to include Alexa Bliss into the Women's Royal Rumble match early on, but it was ultimately decided that it would make no sense and get in the way of what they're doing right now with the therapy sessions. And that's true. It's unfortunate that Alexa missed the Rumble. You always want to see everyone included in the Rumble, but in this moment of time and given her story arc right now, it was the right move to keep her out of the match. She's in the middle of therapy right now. She's technically not fully back on WWE television quite yet, so it didn't make sense for her to appear in the Rumble and then back in therapy on Raw. That would be strange. The way it's going right now, we'll see Alexa Bliss return most likely after the conclusion of the therapy sessions, and whatever the end game may be there with those sessions. Alexa did have some cryptic tweets go out after the Women's Royal Rumble match, so fans were trying to decode those tweets, trying to find out what she meant. Then, the following day, she tweeted out a quote that says, "But who cares? No big deal. I want more." So, was that in reference to Ronda winning the Royal Rumble and that entire situation? Hard to tell, but that's what some fans expected. A lot of people were upset with Alexa not being in the Rumble, but it honestly didn't make sense for her to be included while she's in the middle of a character transition. If the therapy sessions had wrapped up before the Rumble, and she didn't appear, then that would have been a totally different situation. Fans would have every right to question WWE in that case, but given that she was right in the middle of the sessions, it made zero sense for her to appear. We're heading into week 5 of the therapy sessions, and it'll be interesting to see when it ends, because WWE usually ends a mini-series like this one right around that 5 to 7 week mark. So we're coming up on the last few weeks of the sessions, or will they extend it for even longer? Like we always said, for most WWE related stories, as long as new content, new information, and progression is being made, you can keep the series going for as long as you want. You just have to be careful because you don't want to run it for too long and the audience starts to lose interest. But the sessions are great. They're usually right around 2 or 3 minutes, and it keeps us wanting more and wanting to find out what happens next to Alexa. As far as an update prediction for the end of the therapy sessions, it should end in a cliffhanger for sure. It can be a chaotic cliffhanger. It could be a peaceful cliffhanger. But there just has to be some uncertainty with the ending to the therapy sessions, and that will lead us to her return. We'll most likely dive deeper into what the end of Alexa's therapy sessions may look like in a future theory video. The rise and sudden fall of the Hurt Business is something we've gone over a handful of times before. But now, Bobby Lashley is breaking character and giving his thoughts on how he felt about the most recent split. Bobby Lashley appeared on the Ringer's MacMania podcast and had this to say about the Hurt Business. Quote, "We broke the surface. There was so much that we could have done. That group was evolving and people were like, what about them against them and them against them? The Hurt Business against the Bloodline, the Hurt Business against the New Day, the Hurt Business against Drew and the Viking Raiders, if they would have got together." End quote. And Lashley was right. The Hurt Business was gaining momentum, and it started to get to the point where everyone was discussing all these possible factions versus faction matchups for them. But everyone knows how that story went. WWE suddenly split them up once Lashley was champion, brought them back together randomly during a feud with Big E, and then officially broke them apart again during the Brock Lesnar feud. So when it comes to the future of the Hurt Business, who knows? Maybe they could get back together again. Some fans are even discussing how a WrestleMania match between Bobby Lashley and Big E, with both men having their factions by their side, would be an amazing visual as well. But for now, Bobby Lashley will turn his attention to the Elimination Chamber and the tough challenge that is defending a world championship in that kind of match. If Bobby Lashley is able to make it out of there as WWE champion, chances are that he will be walking into WrestleMania as WWE champion for the second year in a row. But what are your thoughts on today's news? Leave your comments, don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.